Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beyond the Peloton podcast. I'm Spencer Martin, author of the Beyond the Peloton newsletter. I'm here with Andrew Vontz from the Choose the Hard Way podcast, always the Hard Way newsletter. We have a little minisode in between the Vuelta, España, and the World Championships. We'll chop it up. We'll chit-chat, get Andrew's takes on the Vuelta, what this upcoming Kigali World Championships will look like. But Andrew, before we get into it, do you want to plug anything?
If you're ready to be a world-class podcast guest or host, you need strategic guidance for your podcast, or you just want to master high-stakes conversations, reach out to me, hello@onerealvoice.com when you're ready to be great. And please follow me at HardwayPod on Instagram. Spencer, I am excited to be here today. We have so many things to talk about. We've got Kip's Corner. We've got the Gravel Rave announced down at Little Sugar, Big Sugar. Notably, they have not invited me to DJ this year under my alias, Deep Ocean Research. My techno is probably too hard for those soft ears down at the Gravel Rave.
That would be a good booking for you. You probably could get that.
I'm going to have to reach out to Chemo. We'll see. Yeah, but we've got a lot popping. We've got Rwanda Worlds this weekend. Pog 5000 stepping back in the game after taking the do not disturb hang tag off of his residence. The Vuelta Coors Light case podium, like we've got it all.
I've never felt more seen than that. Yeah.
Give those guys some stale Cliff Bars, you know?
And how long do they have to wait around for those results to be tallied? Minimum 2 hours, probably. That is when you know you're a bike racer in the U.S. It's been 4 hours since your race finished. You're waiting for the podium ceremony in Perry State Park. The Rangers are trying to kick you out, but you can't leave because you need that prize money. You leave the site, they're not sending you the check. It's not coming.
I've had that experience myself. I won the Cat 4 criterium at the Apple Cup, maybe it was called, in Columbia, Missouri in 1990. And Spencer, classic Midwest problem. I win the race. I won a 2-up sprint. I remember I won it against my training partner, Josh, can't remember his last name. And he thought that we still had 1 lap to go.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah. And then when we finished the race, he was adamant. He was like yelling at the promoter, there was 1 lap to go. And the answer was no, you just didn't hear the bell lap, man. and then peak Midwest, a tornado warning, a thunderstorm blows in. I'm standing around waiting for the podium ceremony or whatever. The prize, a free Domino's pizza, and I never got the gift certificate.
Oh, you got to get that in hand. They will not.
No. There was no going back. Tom Brinker's Cycle Extreme. They organized the race. Tom's a great guy. Tom, I never got my pizza. Come on.
We'll make it right. If Tom is still an active promoter, please bother him. I actually have something to promote. We have no details on this, but last year we did. Careful listeners will recognize we did a trial camp, cycling camp in Tucson. And I think we are getting close to launching our first ever open to the public Beyond the Peloton / Choose the Hard Way cycling retreat in some location, most likely in the Western U.S., but looking to expand internationally. So if you would be interested in doing something like this, like a 5 to 6 day training camp with us in luxury surroundings, hit us up on Instagram. Get on that early wait list.
Get on the trainer now. Put in those big miles, right?
Yeah, and in advance of this, Andrew, I'm coming out of my cocoon, my multi-year cocoon. I come out, people are just alarmed at how fat I am. No one can believe it. Don't even recognize me. But also talk about like an experience. You just imagine going places and people are like, what the fuck happened to you?
Isn't that called becoming a dad? Isn't that just what happens?
Dude,
right?
I had a kid. It's funny, actually. There's all these group rides are still going, and like people are just as fit. But I was out with Scott Moninger, Matt Cook yesterday, some heavy boulder hitters. I'm getting on these group rides, getting the sensations back. But you do forget when you're rolling along. I was actually shocked. We were on the old bus stop course, and I was going some of my fastest ever times on these bus stop segments. It's because of these modern bikes are significantly faster. And it's like, that's not good for us. Like the variables are still there. Like we could still the dangers exist. We're just moving faster through them. So slightly
Way
concerning.
faster. Yeah, you're going to run into that dump truck 5 miles to 10 miles an hour faster when it pulls out. Man, I had it happen to me today. I was in my truck. I was on a road that I frequently am riding my bike on. Lots of intersections here in Maine where the person on the corner has decided, fuck you all, I'm going to grow a gigantic hedge right at this corner so no one can see around it. Yeah, like I think it's axiomatic. If you live on a corner here, that's what you do. So it's one of those, and right as I'm approaching this T intersection, car pulls out in front of me, full on. It was like an episode of Chips. I locked the brakes. I made it around them, but every time I go down a hill, that's my worst nightmare. Actually, the first thing I think about is a deer is going to jump out in front of me, which happens constantly here, especially this time of year. And then number 2, it's somebody's just going to roll through the stop sign and kill me. Please don't do that.
Yeah, I have the same concern. We had a death in Boulder County in the Ironman event because a bear walked out in front of them. And that is now my fear, that you're going 50 miles an hour down some of these descents. It's like, hopefully a bear doesn't just decide to walk out, because the bear, we're having bear issues coming in, knocked the fence down last night, flipped the trash cans over. We've now positioned them that the bear can't get into the trash can, but this bear is a menace. We've got to get it out of there.
Yeah, something that you also have a lot of in Boulder that we're not going to see at the Rwanda World Championships this weekend. We may be seeing it in Maastricht. At the Gravel World Championships is grass. And I'm wondering, Spencer, coming out of Chequamegon, what are your views on grass as a racing surface? And is there anything in your past you want to disclose from your time in Lawrence?
I don't know if this is a leading question. It
is a leading question. Yes.
Well, so just to get people up to speed, there was a big, they call it a mountain bike race, but it's really on a cross-country ski course in Wisconsin. It's now been like shoehorned into the gravel series, but it's fast. It's like a 2-hour, it's like a 40-mile sub 2-hour mountain bike race on grass the whole time. My riding on grass, am I supposed to say something here about grass? The grass velodrome. Where are we going?
Correct.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, Lawrence is famous for its grass velodrome, which I've only ridden on one time, but apparently Ashton Lambie trained out there. This is when you ride on this thing, it is not fast. It feels like you're riding on bumpy grass. And he would train out there, and he became world champion in the individual pursuit over Jonathan Milan and Filippo Ganna from a grass track. Pretty crazy.
Set the world record.
That's insane.
He did.
He beat Bradley Wiggins' world record.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as you know, Spencer, and anyone who reads my Substack, alwaysthehardway.substack.com, you can find that link in my link tree at HardwayPod on Instagram. In the past several weeks, I picked up a pickaxe and a shovel. I went into my yard. No, I didn't bury a body. What I did is I built a trail. And a significant part of the trail, Spencer, is grass. So I just mowed the grass as short as possible and created a path in my yard. The kids have indicated some interest in mountain biking recently, which is fun. Of course, to do that, you have to drive somewhere, and the road in front of my house is a highway. So now they can just go out in the yard and we have a mountain bike course. And I'm just wondering, is this an overlooked surface for rider development?
Could be, because I think you said it in the pre-show. Grass is everywhere. It's not, I guess maybe not in the Southwest, but it's substantial. There's a lot of grass coverage in this country. When I was first getting into, it's just like, I don't know, I want to get a mountain bike. I'm looking around, where do I ride this mountain bike? And I just remember having an inner monologue of can you ride it on grass? Is that allowed? There seems to be a lot of it. I didn't fully understand what a mountain bike trail was. Where can you ride this mountain bike? But yes, now you can. In the modern times, we've decided you can just ride on grass. It's very good because as you say, your kids are riding around in your yard. Our yard is far less substantial than yours. We're in the tiny yards of Boulder. but we've there's the neighbors now are knocking down part of the fence, and the bear is helping. So all these neighbor kids are just constantly riding through our yard, turning it into a mountain bike course as we look at it. And it's good. I think it's good for kids. Get them out there riding on grass. And you know what? If you need a race, there's a lot of grass out there. You can race on grass. It is quite a bit slower, but I guess that's good for rider development, right? You got to push harder.
Yeah, and when you fall over, you're fine.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
The bear would be fine as well. Not a lot of time, a lot of action coming up. When we take a look at Rwanda, the World Championships, diminished list of participants. Nonetheless, we do have some big names. The Belgian team has said they spent an entire year focused on this. I read that headline and I thought, isn't that what happens every year when you begin preparing for World Championships? You have one full year to prepare for it. It's
quite literally, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds to me though that Remco, unsurprisingly, has this extremely high level of confidence going into this race. What is your feeling about Remco going up against a fully rested, rejuvenated Pog?
Yeah, I guess we should split this between, so you have the time trial, 40K long, and it is a lot of climbing. If you looked at this course, there's a 2.4K long climb, 6%, 6.6K long climb, 3.5%, 2K long climb, 6%, and then a cobbled climb to finish at 6%, and then an uphill run to the line. That's not a classic Remco Evenepoel speed course. And not only do we have Tadej Pogačar here, we have Jay Vine, who, coming off the Vuelta España, might be the strongest rider in the world. I'm still blown away by that time trial where he almost completely flat time trial where he almost beats Filippo Ganna, wins multiple stages at the Vuelta. I'm not. I mean, someone said to me, a Remco Evenepoel super fan, good friend of mine, said Remco's going to win world championships or road race. And I thought that's ridiculous. No way. He's just not on the same plane of existence as Pogačar, but he is very good. I did think about he's very good at targeting single one-off events and coming in incredibly fit. And I just saw pictures of him on the time trial course. He looks very fit. I was not so impressed with him at Tour of Britain, but that's also the Remco move, the Remco Vanderpool move where you don't look that good in the lead up and then you just absolutely crush the event. But if I had to put money on it, Andrew, I would say Remco Evenepoel probably leaves here without a gold medal, with Tadej Pogačar probably beating him in the time trial and the road race. I mean, what do you think?
I agree with that assessment. Looking at the parkour for the time trial and looking at the 1, 2, 3 significant climbs, our first climb is 6%. I feel like that's beyond Remco's sweet spot. The second is 3.5%. That's kind of in the ballpark for him. And sorry, there are 4 climbs. And then the last 2 are 6.6%. That's at 1.9 kilometers. And the final climb at 1.3 kilometers is 5.9%. Those are not Remco friendly climbs. I don't think that he's winning.
Well, there's the sneaky little thing about Remco is he's not a great climber, which is limiting at times. I mean, sometimes in one day, he had a good Lombardia last year, still wasn't as good as Pogačar. He's obviously won Liège, so you'd say, well, those are hard climbs. But when you're going up, we have not. I don't think he beat him in the Australian World Championships, but that was it. Pogačar was kind of on cruise control then. He's never really beaten Pogačar straight up in a big event that's not that World Championships in Australia. But Andrew, on Pogačar, we'll talk about the Vuelta at the very end. I have concerns about the future of the Vuelta, but great racing last weekend, not at the Vuelta, but in Canada. What did you think of Pogačar's form? Did you watch this Montreal race?
Yeah,
he was very mean to Quinn Simmons.
Yeah, I think when you can casually ride away from everyone who really wants to win the race just because you're there casually riding, and then you can slow down and
wait for your teammate for no reason.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. That's leadership. This guy doesn't really care about winning this race and just wants his teammate to be able to get a win. And Brandon McNulty, outstanding talent. He just is on Pog's team, which means he never gets to win. Very savvy leadership move there, I would say. And Pog is just looking to me like head and shoulders the greatest rider in the history of humankind.
Yeah, because this race, GP Quebec, I think it was a different course this year, but it's usually easier in Quebec City. I don't think Pogacar's ever really competed. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. But won by Julian Alaphilippe this year. I don't know if you saw that. That kind of came out of nowhere. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
But he looked great. Okay, yeah, Pogacar's never won. It's an easier course, like Arnaud Delis, Michael Matthews, Peter Sagan, type of rider who wins on that course. Montreal is tougher. Someone pointed out to me, a Montrealian, a Quebecois, pointed out that usually like the breakaway gets like 7-8 minutes, but Pogacar just had his team get on the front the whole day, and it was like such a tight top pace. Like everyone was fried, so that when he wanted to attack, no one could go with him. My son the whole time was like, why doesn't he attack with a teammate? Just go with a teammate. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. All right. It's not going to work. And then that's exactly what they did. I was like, oh, that was a good idea. But that was so impressive that just UAE could keep it that close. McNulty went. Quinn Simmons smartly follows him. Everyone must have been screwed, right? Because the smart move is to follow McNulty, because what is happening later, Pogacar's going to bridge up to him. No one will be able to stay with Pogacar. Your only chance is to get up the road. So Simmons gets up the road. Pogacar bridges up to them, and with an Intermarché guy, Louis Barret, up there too, just in an elite group. But then Pogacar attacks Simmons, and McNulty, I couldn't find it on, I went back and watched this multiple times. I couldn't find it on camera. But then McNulty must have then attacked Simmons, bridged up, and Pogacar just let him sit on the wheel, pulled him to the line, won, clearly trying to build bridges after the debacle at the Vuelta, where the team seemed kind of in disarray. He might have a new loyal lieutenant in Brendan McNulty to bring like a bring your own domestique, BYOD, to future Grand Tours. But the thing is, like, Pogacar won this race in 2022 and 2024. In 2022, he won a sprint against Van Aert, if I'm remembering correctly. And then 2024, he's like, let me try to win it solo. Wins by 24 seconds over Pello Bilbao, 40 seconds over Julian Alaphilippe in a chase group. But then this year, I mean, this is the thing about he's just better every year. It's like, no, well, that was a little tough. There are some variables there. Why don't we just make the race really hard, and no one can stay with us, and I'll win it easily. And then it was so easy that he let his teammate win. But yeah, if you're at Worlds and you're watching Pogacar just kind of dismantle people for fun and then let teammates win, that's not a great sign leading into the race.
Yeah, Spencer, as I mentioned before we started recording, directly prior to this podcast, I was on an episode of Gracing, the gravel racing podcast with Thomas Euler. It's a German gravel podcast. He's also the author of the Gravel Stack newsletter. And I was discussing the kind of the Michael Bay high concept that we have of showing up at some of these ultra sprint distance gravel events, maybe 10 to 25 miles, bringing along a world tour or current or former world tour rider or riders as domestiques to set us up for the win. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here with this McNulty Pog situation. Like, I want something like that, but for me, at the Big Sugar 10 to 25 mile distance.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name names or dime anyone out. As you know, I've been talking about doing this for probably 12 to 18 months. I think we're going to do it sometime soon. And I've started to notice this trend on Instagram, where if you go to the Instagram and you follow cycling, you know that anyone of any ability level who participates in a gravel event, there's a 1,000-word minimum anytime they do a training ride or do an event. I'm starting to see a proliferation of people that I know are probably Cat 1 road ability or higher level former professionals. They are in fact targeting the ultra sprint distance. It's happening. And like, we've got to get in the game. So if you're out there, you're a former World Tour pro, or maybe a current World Tour pro who listens to this podcast, and you'd like to be part of that lead out train for myself and Spencer at your own expense, I can guarantee admission to the gravel rave. So reach out, DM me at Hardway Pod.
We could be like a publication I just recently spoke to. It's not, don't say it's at your own expense. Say, we will give you the chance to promote our brand while you do
Fantastic.
it. It's not, so yeah, it's not actually not at your expense. You're getting to promote us while you pay for yourself to come to the race. It's a
We're
win-win.
providing this beautiful fence and giving you a paint can and a paintbrush to paint it.
Yeah, it's perfect. And this is crazy that people are doing this. It's like 10-mile events.
They're doing it. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I sent you podium photos, and it's someone like around our age, and then it's 2 teenagers.
It's like feasibly, yeah, like someone like my 5-year-old son would do an event like that. Yeah, he's racing against a extremely fit, like late 30s man. Like, why is this happening? Where's the executive order on this coming through, Andrew? We got to get grown men out of sprint distance gravel races.
Yeah, you said it.
So I think Pogačar wins this time. I mean, I think this is going to be a very good World Championships for Tadej Pogačar. We're a little far flung. I was negative on it a few weeks ago. These far flung, they just feel a little watered down because people don't want to come. And then I'm a total hypocrite because next year's in Montreal, which is just closer to me, where I'm like, that's a good pick. I love that. Who doesn't want to go to World Championships in Montreal? But and we will be there. We will have a Beyond the Peloton tent probably. Maybe we'll be the announcers. I don't know. We'll see. But I think this is going to be very good for him. With like Jonas not going I don't fully understand why he's not going. I think Pogačar is going to dominate time trial road race on Jonas Vingegaard. Here's my 20-second breakdown of the Vuelta España. Jonas Vingegaard is a winner. No one else is a winner. Jonas at that race. Jonas Vingegaard wins or gets second. So he won. No one could really challenge him, even though it was close. Juan Ayuso, disappointing. Matthew Riccatello, who didn't know he was doing the race until a few days before. So if Juan Ayuso is saying, I didn't know I was supposed to do the Vuelta, no one warned me. Well, Matthew Riccatello shows up, no prior warning, finishes 5th overall, wins the Young Rider jersey. Super impressive. But I come away from the race probably having had no fun watching it. It was miserable. Everything about it I found miserable. Like the protest, worried about the riders, seeing the race stopped, and then just having to then discuss that in a public forum daily was not fun in any way. And I'm concerned how races continue to run in the future.
As you should be. Yes, the field of play is open. What happened is unfortunate. We've discussed it here. It's been discussed ad infinitum everywhere else. The real question is, what does this mean for the future of the sport? And in a sick, twisted take on if you give a mouse a cookie, I think the mouse got the cookie. And now what is the glass of milk in 2026 at the Tour de France and beyond when you have this rolling soft target? And if we can't stop Omi Opa sign holder, what happens when you have potentially armed extremists who want to intercede in an athletic competition? And I'm not, by the way, I don't want anyone to mistake what I just said as conflating the protests that happened at the Vuelta. No one was armed. They were violent. It was dangerous to the riders, but I just see the potential for this to significantly escalate.
When the Prime Minister of Spain endorsed it, like the morning of the final stage was like, this is great. I want to see more protests. And then, of course, if you're the police, like your knees you've been cut off at the knees. Like you can't. Your prime minister is then siding with the protesters. The race could never happen. I don't even know why they started it. Probably to collect a check from Madrid. And then, do you know where the Tour de France starts next year, Andrew?
It's supposed to start in Spain, correct?
In Spain, yeah. I cannot imagine that happens because they're asking for assurances. It's like, well, why would you believe any assurance they could give you? Like, it's very concerning. I mean, there'll be no issues at the Rwandan World Championships because do your own research on why there will be no protests at the Rwanda. I don't want to get in trouble by saying anything, but we might have to just hold the entire racing calendar in 2026 might just have to be in Dubai. I think that's just where the future of cycling is, or on but is this? Could people point the finger at you, Andrew, and say this is like you're orchestrating these protests because this works in your favor of eventually getting all road races onto circuits?
Yeah, That would be one take. That would be an interesting one. I think that this is a good time as we start to wrap this up to pivot over to Kip's Corner. So Spencer, what have we got cracking in Kip's Corner? I know that we reached out for direct comment. The big news last time we checked in was that Kip has the podium casual jersey.
Yeah, well, Kip, we don't need fresh content because Kip is always producing content for us to talk about. We were invited on this trip. We didn't go. I guess we could still go. So it's next weekend. Kip has taken a band of merry men out and doing what is it, the White Rim Trail in Moab. It's like 10 hours of riding potentially. No food or water available once you're
unsupported. You can hire
unsupported.
people to follow you with food and water, I think. They've elected not to do that.
Yeah, and I didn't go because it's World Championships, right? And I'm busy, is the story that's being told. But part of me is just concerned, which I don't, that kind of freaks me out. You're just like out in the Utah desert. Hope you brought enough water. Hope you're not thirsty. Hope you don't get a flat tire. Pretty intense ride. I'm kind of sad I'm missing it.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun, and I would like to do it. For me personally, as you know, Spencer, when I travel from beautiful Hope, Maine to get to any location, it's typically 14 plus hours.
So hard.
And I did the math on this because this ride actually is happening on my birthday, and I thought it would be really fun to do. And when I looked into it, getting just to Denver is probably 14 hours from here, and then landing, unpacking, building the bike, driving to Moab to then ride the next day
drive or something.
Yeah, to ride the next day for 10 hours on a mountain bike. I've ridden a mountain bike twice in 2025. I have a long list. I did win a race one of the times that I rode the mountain bike. My first mountain bike victory, I believe, since 1991. And I would like to do this ride. I am not able to do it on the date. So hats off, Kip and crew. We wish you the best of luck. I also wanted to give a shout out to Sam Huntington, the creator of the Hill Climbers podcast newsletter community. He yesterday invited me to come down to Texas to do a 200-mile ride. And I know Sam has a very young child. I'm just wondering what's wrong with all these people. How are they able to do like 10-hour rides? I mean, that's awesome. Good for you. Maybe I'm just envious. I don't have the capacity I could sit on a bike and do that. I don't think it would be very enjoyable right now, especially following long travel. So maybe I need to teleport.
Yeah, I think that would be, I don't know. I mean, maybe we could do it. Maybe just go out and do it. I don't feel like I would have the fitness to do it. We got to reevaluate our lives to make sure that I'm also been so spoiled by, I just have a different, like you're in Europe and you're like, I'm out in the wilds of the Alps. I'm in nature. And then you're like never more than 5 minutes away from like a nice meal. It's like anything you need is just a credit card tap and a 5-minute ride away. Where I get kind of freaked out, like I don't know, the wildness of the American West kind of freaks me out a little bit.
I have that feeling a bit just when I go outside and ride here in Mid-Coast Maine.
I have the same.
I'm in the middle of wilderness, more or less, with a bit of civilization sprinkled in. I would love to get back to Moab. I haven't been there since 1993, I think. So yeah, I would like to get back.
I have the same thought when I'm like west of Boulder is quite backcountry. Get a little freaked out back there sometimes. But I don't know if this is accurate. Sometimes these one-off courses, it's hard to get information on them. But I'll just leave you with this. The Pro Cycling Stats have it at 6,100 meters of climbing on this course, this road race course. That is roughly 20,000 feet of climbing in a single road race. That's very difficult. That is, of course, nothing compared to the modern triple Everest that people are doing for reasons unknown to me, but very hard road race course. We'll talk about it more next week, though, before the event itself.
I'm looking forward to it, and I need to look up the time differential. I don't know what time this race is going to be on.
That is a great question. I would assume it's similar to Europe, maybe roughly an hour earlier.
Right.
Hold on. Let me look at the time right now. It's 7 p.m. in Kigali. That's only 8 hours ahead of me. So that's the same time as Europe. That's actually nice for the riders. No time change.
Right.
All right.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you, Andrew, and we will speak next week.
Yeah, thank you. And remember, if you're interested in joining us at this forthcoming cycling camp, drop us a line. You can reach me at Hardway Pod. You can reach Spencer, hit him through his newsletter, or me through my newsletter. I'd like to know if you would be interested in joining us for a very exclusive experience.
Yes, please reach out. Do not let yourself miss out on this again. But Andrew, we will talk soon. Bye.